Well, I guess first of all, I was impressed with the council and how they were thinking outside the box. Since the first legislation came out, I've been doing a lot of research as much as I can, and it's not coming in with the election laws. It's not coming in with Title II laws. That's the only laws that we can apply is Title II, since it spoke to that. So, and we've done the first round, came up to the second round. Second round was a lot harder, to get to this point where we're at. So, but I commend the council that stayed here. As you saw, the old members all walked out all at one time in synchronicity. You saw Mel Arbigay, you saw Catherine. Catherine was the one that actually led the charge out. And then and at the end you had Speaker walk out too. So, and then you had other David Tom, Roscoe Smith. I can't remember which other delegates, but left us with just enough to take actions to make these amendments. But what we found, in I guess you could say a needle in a haystack, was Navajo Nation Code, Title II Code 102, subsection 102, paragraph D, meaning that the council has that authority to, in short term, police itself. So that was the term, and that was the knowledge that was used to this point to make those amendments. Overstriking, the removal. Again, we're not removing the speaker as a delegate. He'll still be a delegate, but we're just putting him on administrative leave with pay until he resolves all of that. So after that, the passage of that legislation, there's questions about when does this all kick in as far as the new Speaker Pro Tem and all of that. Of course, we didn't have legislation here, but there was a directive that we normally do in our normal process is to direct the council. And right now they've directed that we have Mr. Lorenzo Bates serve as until Pro Tem until we get council back in session to go through the process of the nomination or selection of an appointment of a Speaker Pro Tem to carry out for the remainder of the term or until everything is cleared. So again, it's just more of a personnel policy kind of attempt to put one of the employees on administrative leave. So it goes hand in hand. We put the person and gave him the authority to be in charge there. If they're wrongdoing anywhere else, you see that in the Navajo Nation or any employment. If you're alleged of doing something, they put you on administrative leave or pay. So this is no different than that. And I think the council thought outside the box to use what its authority it has in that. So that's kind of, in short, I guess, explaining how the whole process came about today. So.
Well, that's good. Thank you for that. And what did you think about the call for an executive session? Do you think that helped the council in moving forward with the legislation this time?
I can't really talk about things that happened in executive session, but everything that led up to that point publicly, we saw where it was going, and then at the same time when we came out, to me it's just like the delegates themselves wanted to make some type of resolution, knowing that the challenge is 16 votes. So that's where I was at. I'm impressed with my colleagues that were here on the floor that made that amendment and supported that amendment. So, I don't think it made any difference, from going to executive session. We were going to deal with it today. I think it's what we knew we were going to deal with today.
Is there anything else you'd like to say? One thing that I heard, and even again when Delegate Danny Simpson asked you to maybe, set this legislation 6914 aside and come back with new legislation, you told him any delegate can sponsor new legislation. I told you before, I've gone through a lot. What were you talking? What have you been going through?
Well, that to me again, that was where I thought I've done enough research, and that's where I was impressed with the delegates that made an amendment to bring it to this approval. So at that point, when he asked me, I figured there was really no other way because there was no laws that were put in there. If I had known about 102D in Title II, I would have put it in my findings and would have gone that route. So with that, I think that would be. But I was at this point where I've come a long way. I've gone through a lot. My family and I, culturally, and it took a lot of energy out of me. But at the same time, we prevail because of the people's prayers. I've been asking people for their individual prayers to help us move forward. So that's kind of where my last thoughts are. Okay?